So yeah, the title isn't lying. I'm finally taking on Normal Culling. And this video is gonna be all about my experience with that, and it will hopefully motivate you maybe to also start on taking Normal Culling, because honestly, it's not that much of a step up from easy, but there are some hurdles and I will be talking about those. But for me, the Normal Culling clear, or the clearing process as we are doing it every week now, is my first step to take on the truly hard bosses in this game, followed by Extreme Lotus, Normal Limbo, and Chaos Kalos. These are gonna be really tough to crack. But as I said, Normal Culling, not as difficult and definitely achievable, so let's just dive into things. The first difficulty that you're gonna be facing are the Phase 1 perils. And here the difference between easy and normal is really the most noticeable, because you cannot, under any circumstance, one burst the Phase 1 perils. No, it's not gonna be happening unless you're like probably in the realm of, you should be doing hard culling. Let's put it like that. If you're strong enough to do that, maybe, try checking out a hard culling, I guess. But, with that being said, once you decide to take on normal culling, don't expect to be able to one burst the Phase 1 perils. And with that comes a huge burden for the whole party, basically. The party building process is gonna be much harder, because now you're looking for some people that are wanting to take on dog in Phase 1. And I can assure you, there aren't that many people wanting to do that, because the dog is actually really difficult when you get started with that. And I hope to clear some things up and also, maybe motivate you into trying the dog, because as I started out extremely bad, I already moved up to just being a little bad at the dog within a couple of, attempts, practice runs, and now clears. So it's not as scary as you might think, but there are some requirements here. So your class needs to have a fast displacement skill, either a teleport or a quick dash. You can see me using my backstep here all the time, because it is really crucial, and you can see the Mihile here parrying all the time in order to avoid the mechanics, because the dog just attacks extremely quickly. If you want an example for an extremely slow dash, that would be the Mihile dash, but at least he has the parry to make this work. So yeah, next up, the attacks from the dog come out so quickly that you kinda want to stay a little further back from the dog. Either you want to stand like right on top of him and dodge left and right, or you want to just be standing a little further away. And I think if I were to put this chaotic happening that's here on the screen into a strategy, I would say we were planning on having one person on either side of the dog, so he will only attack one and the other gets, a little bit more free DPS. It's really hard to do, and you always have to keep in mind that you cannot get hit that much or you just gauge out, right? So the plan is really burst and play safe, burst and play safe and phase. So with that being said, we have one person on either side, because once the dog wants to go towards the cloud, right, once he needs to be attacked from the front when the bar's above him, we have one person on either side to do that job, right? And then really the last hurdle here are the tests, and the tests are something that you can just practice on your own if you'd like to. Every, 1 minute, the dog goes into hiding, and the spears from the ground, or the flowers or whatever they are, they start to attack really quickly and do really a lot of damage. And I think that is the hardest thing at first, but the thing that becomes easier the quickest once you start practicing. And I really mean it. Especially if you're a thief, maybe you can, jump, flash jump in one direction and just flash jump back once, your initial position is safe again. stuff like that. Or if you're a teleport class, I imagine it's a lot easier. Here you can see me fumbling the dash all the time. I'm still getting hit a lot, but I'm at least not dying to the tests anymore, right? And I really see myself improving in dog as the time goes on, and really that's the most important thing. So as you can see, in our case we are added for 2 origin bursts, and then we phase, or like not we phase, but we move into the next peril basically. And I think there are 2 strategies for teaming up with the rest of the party, or joining up this joining this squad, or whatever you would say, right? You can either wait in Tiger or in Bird, but I think most people do wait in Tiger, because for as long as the Bird is alive, he will tax your gauge, which is basically your life, So I think most people prefer to meet up in Tiger, slowly poke it down, and then phase when either everybody has burst up, or 5 people have their origin burst up, or 3, depending on how strong your not your class but your party is, right? I think it is safe to just send 5 origins, but that means that you have to spend more time in Tiger itself, because here in this case, for example, Mihile origined in the first burst, I origined in the second burst, then 3 minutes later the Mihile origin comes back up again, and then 3 minutes later my burst origin comes up again. So that's already 12 minutes plus of just phase 1, right? That being said, it doesn't really matter that much how long you spend in phase 1 if you can just proceed with your strategy and 1 burst phase 2. I have never seen anybody play phase 2 properly, I gotta be honest, and I don't really think people are wanting to try to do that either. So in this party, like you've seen it probably a million times, we just 1 burst P2 and phase into P3. And here, as you can probably expect, yes, we are doing a cheese strat, which means that 1 person is on one side of Kaling, or of the middle basically, and the others are standing on the other sides, but all 6 people are within the area of the dog basically. You will immediately gauge out 2 gauges, and then be left with fewer lives, but a pretty safe fight. And again, I haven't seen anybody really push the boundary here and do the fight as it is, expected from you. Basically do the proper strat where 2 people are in either of the 3 phases, or either of the 3 portions of the map, and just balance out the gauge and do the fight properly basically. I haven't seen anybody do that ever, to be honest. I think maybe the first KMS clear did that or something like that, but honestly that's not something that you're ever needing to do unless you're like super min clearing, I imagine. And to be honest, like I said, I haven't seen anybody do it. Even the hard Kaling clears are with the cheese strat and are with the 1 burst P2. There's really one good thing that comes of that, and that is the transition from running easy Kaling to running normal Kaling is just phase 1. You have to be better in phase 1, and once you can take on your peril properly, not get hit too much, etc., you are ready for normal Kaling. Basically, right? There's one last caveat. If you cannot 1 burst phase 2, you're probably gonna have to say that you're gonna, have to get stronger first, because I don't really see people wanting to go ahead and play P2 properly. That's the only reason. But, if I were to talk for myself, doing this boss fight the proper way, full 30-minute timer run every week would be too much for me. So, I have other things to do in the game, and I want to do other things. So maybe that's also why you don't see anybody do, a long phase 2 or, the proper phase 3 strategy. And yeah, because, people are just busy. And besides that, when we're talking grindstones, I have seen maybe 1, 2, 3, but I wasn't able to loot any yet. So that's that's the way the cookie crumbles. That's the saying, right? And yeah, if you take anything away from this video, it's gonna be just, just try. If you want to move to normal culling and you can't find a party, maybe try taking on dog, because party building becomes a little bit easier for you then. And that's really it. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you remember, you get early access to all my episodes. And with that, I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everybody, and bye bye.